Black Women in Radio will present its National Historic Collection and Oral History Project at the Radio Preservation Task Force Conference this week at the Library of Congress in D.C. Now, the collection spotlights the unique contributions of each woman in the inaugural 30 who've influenced the radio industry for over 7 decades on and off the airwaves.
Now, the Black Women in Radio National Historic Collection and Oral History Project, curated by WBIR founder, that's Black Women in Radio, founder Felisha Love, is the first archival recognition of Black women's contributions to the industry, and it will preserve their voices for posterity. Today on the Black Report, we welcome Felisha Love to talk more about this historic project. Hello there.
Hello. Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, thanks for being here. I have to fake this a little bit because we are very good friends, you know, just putting it out there. All right. Give us a little background on your organization, Black Women in Radio, and how this project came about, especially with the partnership with the Library of Congress.
Yes. Well, the Black Women in Radio came about as a hashtag, Black Women in Radio. After being in the industry over 30 years in and out, we've had conversations about, you know, Black women not really being recognized in spaces, especially historical spaces. So after the hashtag Black Women in Radio blew up in 2017, I started organizing what we had found to be a prominent subject in like spaces like Clubhouse. For instance, I did research 2 years, and I reached out to the Library of Congress and I said, hey, I have this body of women who are, you know, really interested in becoming documented for research, educational research, and they said yes and embraced it. And then I started reaching out to you guys, and I can't believe it. We're going to be presenting at the Library of Congress on Friday.
Isn't that amazing?
Well, with so many amazing Black female radio personalities in the industry, what was some of the criteria used to select this inaugural 30? And can you give us a hint at some of the more well-known inductees?
Absolutely. Well, most organizations have this poll, if you will, to choose the people who are most popular. I wanted to come from a different perspective. Since I've been in the industry, I know quite a few women, and then there were women that I knew of that I really wanted to dig into more of their history. Courtney is one of them. I'm from Chicago. I knew that she was in Chicago broadcasting, but we never had an opportunity to meet. So the criteria was really based on my research and personal experience. I didn't want it to be a popularity contest, as most are. And one reason why I chose women who are influencers locally, regionally, and nationally was for that reason. So I hoped that there would be women broadcasters out there who could see themselves in somebody on this list. So we have, of course, Courtney Hicks. We have Kathy Hughes. Frankie Darcell is on the list. Also, Bonnie DeShawn. There is, let's see, Vi Higginson, Tammy Mack, Dee Dee McGuire. Yes, Shirley Strawberry is on there. Keisha Monk. I mean, we have 39 women. And it's funny, I named it the inaugural 30 initially, did all of this marketing for it, and we kept getting names that I thought we have to include them. One of them is Chatty Hattie Leaper from North Carolina. She is our senior on this roster, and she started radio at age 17 in 1948. So now we have 75 years covered in this body of work. I'm just so excited.
That is amazing, and I'm honored to be a part of the inaugural 30. So once the project is revealed this Friday, we're all getting together at the Library of Congress radio convention and the White House, from what I hear. The exhibit featuring these amazing women will then tour the U.S. Talk a little bit about some of the stops and then where the exhibit will eventually be housed.
Well, that's what we're working on now. We're raising money. I have a 501c3, the Black Women in Radio Historic Society, that I'm announcing now. I hadn't said anything about it, and I was going to wait until Friday, but this is a special occasion. But we do have that organized so that we can raise money to, of course, hire a designer for the exhibit, and then the casing that would be needed for the physical items that would be donated from the inaugural 30 to tell this tremendously rich story about what it's like for an African-American woman to be a broadcaster. And some of their backgrounds are such rich tapestry in each one of these women's stories. So we're going to try to encompass that in the exhibit, and we want to travel throughout the HBCUs, because the Atlanta University Center Robert Woodruff Library is the housing manager for the collection. So of course we'll start at Morehouse Spelman and Clark Atlanta University, that's where their museum, where our managing body is. And then it will filter out to the major museums in Chicago. There are several actually in Chicago that are actually waiting on our exhibit, and we'll have a couple of years actually of traveling around.
Wow. Felisha, I've got to ask you, you have been painstakingly curating this historical collection for almost 2 years. Now that the moment is almost here, what's your hope regarding the project's legacy and relevance and influence, especially with the future Black female radio personalities that might be watching right now?
I think the future Black radio personalities, women especially, are just so excited that finally we've broken ground in American broadcast history. There's just not a lot of information out there about us at all. But I'm having an out-of-body experience. I never in a million years dreamed that we would be at the Library of Congress and then at the White House with this. But it just lets me know that the work that I did put in is significant, and it's a legacy that is just so much greater than me, and it will touch many lives to come. So I'm just honored.
Absolutely. Well, we know you've got a journey here with this particular project, especially with the revealing. Talk to our soulmates, that's our viewers. How can we connect with you and the Black Women in Radio organization to follow this journey? Social media. I know there's a lot of support that's going to be needed as we push along. Talk a little bit about that before we wrap up.
Well, it would be wonderful to have people on this journey with us to realize this dream. They can reach us at www.blackwomeninradio.com. There's plenty of information there on what we do and how we do it. And there's also some documentation at the Library of Congress with the Radio Preservation Task Force and their website as well. And you can also reach me by email at blackwomeninradio@gmail.com.
Oh, Felisha, thank you so much for taking some time out today. You know, I don't take no days off work, but I will be taking Friday off to join all of my sisters
for good reason.
In D.C. For the remainder of the conference. Thank you so much for taking some time out today and for your hard work to put our stories out there.
Thank you. My pleasure. I'm honored.
Take good care.
Thanks for having me.
Love you.
Love you.